Children are inherently playful. Your inner child wants to play with things, even boring things, right? Like being like 10% more playful. These are things that we're born knowing how to do. Hello, beautiful. Welcome back. It is mid to late August. I believe this episode's coming out on August 22nd. And yeah, I want to talk about the back to school vibe because when we get into like late August, it just feels like I should be shopping for notebooks. Like there's this very ancient ancestral wisdom within me that says, go get a new notebook because it's back to school season. Alas, I'm not doing that because I have a lot of notebooks, so I don't need to go shopping during back to school season, but I do find myself craving it. And I did get a very cute pack of highlighters and pens that are in pretty colors, and they're bringing me joy. Small joy. Grab it while you got it. So along with the back to school vibe, it's summer. If you're in the United States, it is warm, it's hot. The children have been out screaming in the streets for several months now, and it is time for them to go back to school and for me to maybe get notebooks. Anyway, with this sort of like back to school, back to basics vibe, I have been reflecting on the history of this podcast, how it started, how it's going. It's been quite a journey. And I really like the direction we've gone. I like that we're doing this on YouTube. I like that we can clip out like little reels and sound bites, and those like they're finding the right people and people are feeling so seen by them. So love that. Huge shout out to Pancake Copycats, my podcast producers, because without them, I would be nothing. You'd be getting medium edited audio only podcasts. And I would take breaks sometimes. I don't have to take breaks now. You get 4 episodes a month forever because I don't have to edit them. So thank the Pancake Copycats that we are here and we are talking. But back in the early days of the podcast, it was not called the Neurodivergent Creative Podcast. It was called Run Like Hell Toward Happy. And I still love this phrase. I'm probably going to write a book with this kind of theme because I really stand by it. And Run Like Hell Toward Happy is something like a concept that I stumbled upon when I was talking about like goals and long-term vision and things like that. And it is the idea that you want to get really clear on what you want. You don't have to know everything, but you should get very clear on like what your deep down dream is, what your deep passion is, and then pick a spot on the horizon that represents this dream and its fulfillment. And then you just move toward that spot. You run like hell toward your happy. Now, you don't have to run like hell. Like you can mosey, you can leisurely walk toward happy, but having that point on the horizon is itself like part of this concept of getting yourself to focus on a dream, one dream that you have. And gosh, we've been talking a lot lately about like hope and the future and the fact that the political climate is not very good right now. The fact that it feels unsafe in the United States and around the world for a lot of people. And that's all very real, but I want to get smaller. I want to shrink it down from like the problems of the entire world and then shrink it and shrink it and shrink it. And I just want to talk about you today because you matter. You matter. Your dream matters. Your needs matter. The things that you want and the things that you care about matter. And when you compare them to a whole world, the entire world's worth of problems and joys and positives and negatives and pluses and minuses, like your own life starts to lose, like you start to lose touch with it because you're only thinking about yourself as one of billions. And that's important. And like we should remember that the world does not revolve around us, one person in particular, but neither should you give up your individuality. And this is not rugged individualism. This is just knowing that you, a person, can be whole and complete and you're allowed to do stuff that feels good. Maybe that's not a problem for anybody else. Maybe that's just Caitlin and my OCD. But I have had a hard time thinking of myself and my problems as things that like really matter in the grand scheme of things, because I'm so like plugged into lots of things happening all over the world. And I don't want to only live in the big things happening all over the world. Sometimes you got to get small. Sometimes you got to scale it down. Sometimes you just need to be present while you make a home cooked meal. And that's when we're thinking like run like hell toward happy, we're doing back to basics kind of a vibe. I want you to think about like doing one part of your day where you are just fully present. So maybe that is journaling. I am not great at staying present while I journal. I can be sometimes, but other times, especially like if my computer's already on and like I've already checked my email and then I try to journal, I'm like looking up at the calendar and being like, I've got time before this meeting. I can maybe fit the journaling in here. And I'm already thinking about my to-do list and I'm already doing other people's stuff and not like stuff that's for other people, meetings with other people, things like that. Like I am not being present just for me. I have already begun doing things for the benefit of others and for like the larger scale of humanity or my clients, my audience, whatever we're talking about. So ideally, and you may notice that there is no longer a big squishy orange chair behind me because I have moved that into our bedroom where I have like a little reading nook, and I'm hoping that in the mornings I can get out of bed, bypass my phone, go sit in my comfy chair and journal there. That's my dream. We're going to see how it shakes out. I'm recording this on Monday, August 18th. I'll report back when I record the next one. We'll see. Sometimes it takes me a while to do things, and that's okay. So when it comes to this idea of like your deep down dream, a lot of us knew what we wanted to be when we were kids, right? We'd be like, I want to be a teacher when I grow up. I want to be a scientist. I want to be a veterinarian. And we get these visions for what we want to do in the future. And then as we grow, they change because we learn more things about like, oh, well, if I want to be a vet, I have to go to college for extra years and go to med school and do all this. Maybe I don't want to do that. I was going to be a teacher and then I ended up switching my major a couple times. I went on a whole journey and I ended up with a psychology degree. That's not my childhood dream. And in fact, like my inner child is pretty happy with psychology. Checking in with my inner child has been fun lately because I'm on sort of a quest to heal my inner teenager, because I think I've done a lot of work on like the young inner child, but then I have like this very angsty teenager who feels unwanted and unloved. And so now I have to work on that part of myself. And it's frustrating because it was frustrating to be 14, 15, 16, you know, like it was hard to be a teenager, and it's hard to be a teenager just in general. So when I look back and I'm like, well, what was my dream then? It's missing. Like I can't accurately pinpoint like a childhood dream that I was working toward in high school that was actually like for me deep down. It was, you know, I wanted to be a vet, but that was partially because like my best friend wanted to be a vet and we were like, we should be vets together, because that's how children make career choices. And then I was like, actually, I don't think I could handle like euthanizing an animal, so I'm not going to do that. And then I wanted to be a biology teacher, and that was because I really liked my biology teacher. And I was like, well, this is great. I love biology. He seems like a great teacher. I want to be like him. I'm going to emulate my favorite teacher and go become somebody else's favorite teacher, you know? And then I didn't like the biology major stuff. We had to dissect a mouse that was alive when we got to the lab, and we were supposed to kill it and dissect it. And I was like, nope, not for me. Can't do it. That childhood dream is over. And like, wouldn't you know it? I did kind of end up being a teacher. Like as a coach, as somebody who influences people and inspires people and helps people reconnect with their creativity. So like I work with people. I teach them things. I am not a teacher for kids, but I am a teacher for your inner child. And I think that is a very cool distinction about me. Like that's really cool because a lot of people will teach kids, you know? I love kids. I've worked in a daycare. I have volunteered with children. I like kids a lot. I do not think that I could handle being an elementary school or middle school or even a high school teacher. I don't think I could handle teaching. It's too many kids all at once. And like the instant one of them is mean to me, I'm going to cry. So I'm not cut out for that. But what I can do is work with you and access your inner child and get that inner child reconnected to that spot on the horizon where you're going to run like hell toward happy. Beautiful. See how I took that whole meandering path and I got back to my original point? We love it. How do we get to that spot on the horizon? Wonderful question. Society tells us that like there's a specific escalator of events that you're supposed to go through as an adult, right? Like you graduate high school, you go to college, you get your degree, you get a job. Back in the day, you could just like get an entry-level job at the firm and then like get promoted over the years, and then you retire from the firm and you get your gold pocket watch and then you're retired. This does not exist anymore. We have eroded the middle class, and now poverty is bigger and the gap between the haves and the have-nots is gappier. And that's kind of rough to navigate. So we don't have the career path that was traditional 50 years ago. And if you're interested in more about this, you can read about it in my book, The Gaslighting of the Millennial Generation, because I have a whole chapter about how millennials are killing the workplace because we want nap pods and flex time and all these benefits that don't cost you a damn thing, but would retain good employees longer, if that's important to you. All right, down that path lies anger. So I'm going to keep it over here on this path. When we are working toward our deep down dream, it's not going to be a linear progression most of the time. So that would be a beautiful dream, you know, like I'm going to decide to do this, and then every day I'm going to do 1%. And then in 100 days, I will have completed this dream 100%. Sorry, if you're here, you probably have ADHD. So that's going to be difficult, but not impossible. And also you don't have to do it fast. You don't have to put everything you have into this quest for your spot on the horizon. You can get back to basics. And by that, I mean like get back to the things that you inherently knew were important when you were a kid, before society beat the crap out of you and was like, you don't deserve cool hopes and dreams. No whimsy for you. Be boring. Go get an office job. We're not here to be boring. Anybody who hangs out with me is like a sparkly unicorn person. So if you're here, that's you also. So what do children do, right? Children are inherently playful. Your inner child wants to play with things, even boring things, right? Like color code a spreadsheet, right? Like if you need to make a spreadsheet for work, there's no reason it can't be rainbow colored until the day you turn it in. Like you can use different colors of pens and highlighters, like anything that's just a little bit fanciful. We want to start like being like 10% more playful, just 10%. 10% more playful, and let's call it 10% more restful, okay? These are things that we're born knowing how to do, okay? We are born knowing how to rest. Babies sleep a lot. The only thing we can do as a baby, right, is like cry for help. One of the very first things that we learn to do as a living person is to cry and ask for help. And then society is like, don't need any help. That's bad. You should be ashamed of yourself for needing help because we live in a hellscape. But no, you're supposed to still ask for help. You're allowed to ask for help. You can ask me for help. If you cry, I will appear. I will let you cry on me. So what's playful? What's slower and more restful? You got to go at your own pace. So let's say, what's the dream? You just want to, I'm going to pick write a novel, because that's what I help people do a lot. So your deep down dream is that you want to write an amazing like YA series. Okay, you're going to write an all new witchcraft YA series. We got a ton of them. Why not add yours? You're going to do it a little bit interesting, a little bit zesty, a little bit just for you. Okay, but to get there, you need to like learn about what goes into a novel. You need to make a writing routine. If you're already a writer, are you going to add the novel to your existing writing, or are you going to shift from your current vibes writing wise over into this novel? You're going to need to do a lot of things. P.S. I can help you organize like that whole plan. Actually, that's worth a shout out. I'm doing a special this month on my hyperfocus play dates. I'm trying to book those out for the rest of the year so that like I know my capacity and I can fit clients in like around these play dates. But this is something that I want to do more of. Ideally, I'd love to be doing like one a week. And what you get in the hyperfocus play date is first, you tell me all the lore. You're like, Caitlin, here is what I wish to achieve. Here is my dream. Here is all the crap in the way of my dream. Here is everything that I have tried and failed on my quest to my dream. Help me. And what I will do is I will spend probably more time than I need to, but I like to spend the time making you a little custom like dashboard. And in this dashboard, I'm going to add like a lot of different resources based on what you tell me like the issue is. So if you have always tried time blocking in your calendar and that never seems to work, I'm going to bring in a couple other time management tools and we're going to try those together and then identify the one that might work a little better for you. Because I have found over and over and over again, coaching neurodivergent people, is that we really internalize the shame of like, that didn't work and now I have to try something else. But if we were listening to the inner child, there's no shame in that, right? Like if a kid is trying to make a tower of blocks and the tower falls over, if you just stay real quiet and let that kid do what he's doing, he's just going to build the tower again. And maybe he'll make it a little sturdier, or maybe it'll keep falling. But at the end of the day, that kid's fine because he was here to play with it. And if you are here to play with this dream, to play with the concept of time management, to play with your calendar, to play with organization, then we can have fun while we figure out what works for your brain. And also another note, just for all my neurodivergent friends, especially the ADHDers, we can find something that works and then weeks, months, even years later, it can just stop working. And then we got to go find something else to do because our brains want dopamine. And do you know what gives you dopamine? Play. You got to be playful. You got to be a little more whimsical about it. Okay. So your challenge this week is to do something a little bit playful, a little bit colorful. Go for a bike ride. If that's not your normal vibe, just grab a coloring book and color. Finally put those stickers that you've been hoarding on something and let yourself enjoy them. I have become a water bottle sticker person. Maybe you can too. Before I was always too stressed out for that. I was like, no, because I don't know. What if the sticker gets damaged? What if I don't identify with that sticker anymore? I don't know. I don't freaking know what's wrong with me. Okay. But it felt real dangerous to put the stickers on the cup. And then once I did that, now I get to see my pretty cup all day. And that actually keeps me more hydrated because play helps you do things. Hey. So it's back to school, back to basics kind of vibe. Really, yeah, like back to your inner child, back to childhood is the basics where I am going. What did you do as a child? And like, not the trauma parts, right? Like we don't need to like dredge up everything that you've ever been through. What we want to do is go into the inner childhood vault and find some things that were pleasant. Find some things that were playful. Did you like to role play and dress up as characters and put on a show and be a pirate? Like maybe playing D&D is right for you. Did you love board games? Like this can be less whimsy and more just like intentional time, you know? So maybe you have a board game night or you add a hobby night to your weekly routine. Like on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you read a novel or you make some art instead of doing whatever you would normally do, etc., blah, blah, blah. So at the end of the day, we're going to be playful. That's your homework this week. It's back to school, so you have homework. Your homework is to keep track of the ways that you made things playful and to decide what feels good to you. Like what kind of rewards make things worth it. I love to color code stuff. If I can look at something and visually it is a rainbow, I am locked in. I am so excited to fill out my little thing that's in a rainbow. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be insurance paperwork. I don't care. If it's got a little rainbow and it's color coded, like a little drag and drop type thing, I'm so in because that's playful for me. With the hyperfocus play dates, everybody who books their session in August, so you don't have to have the session in August, but you purchase it and schedule it in August, you will get a bonus follow-up call, which means that once we have our session together, which is like 3 hours of just info dumpy, hyper-focus vibes, awesome. Then you will get an hour follow-up call 3 months after our session so that I can come in and check in on everything you're doing, and we can troubleshoot your dashboard and anything that you thought was going to work, but then it didn't work, things like that. So this episode's coming out on the 22nd. So this is going to be a little quick turnaround here, but I'm going to be in a summit next week called the Clarity Code Summit. And I'm doing a workshop called Burnout Breakthrough. Hang on, I got to look at the whole title. Reclaiming your energy and passion for sustainable success. So I'm going to go deep into this like deep down dream thing. We're going to talk about my framework to dream, plan, and act on your goals so that you can be moving toward that happy spot on the horizon. So that's totally free. Or you can upgrade to an all access pass that is honestly, I think, pretty cheap. Like it's one of the more affordable ones I've seen, like it's under $50. And then you will get all sorts of extra swag and goodies. And so I'm going to put that link in the show notes so that you can join the waitlist and hear about it when the thing goes live, basically. I think that's it. I love you. Be playful. Put a little whimsy in it. And I'll see you next week. And next week, we're going to talk about black and white thinking. It's going to be fun.
They'll change your approach and tell you a joke to lighten your load and help you along or sing you a song. Do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do.